Hello chess friends and welcome back to the channel. Round 2 of the Norway Chess 2019 is one of the most beautiful rounds in recent tournaments. There is a lot of material to watch together and for now I chose to show you the classical game between Aronian and Magnus Carlsen. Let's start with the game. Levon Aronian with the white pieces opens with d4 and of course Magnus Carlsen answered with c5, the Sicilian defense. Knight to f3, knight to c6, and bishop to b5, the Rossolimo attack. Carlsen played many times against the Rossolimo. The games that he played against Caruana in the World Championship match immediately comes to mind. Let's go on. g6, bishop captures on c6, and d recaptures on c6. d3, queen to c7 instead of bishop to g7, it will be the queen to support the e5 push. Short castle for Aronian and e5. Bishop to e3, knight to f6, and queen to e1. The game is already original. Bishop to g4, threatening to capture the knight and destroy the castle. So here comes knight in b, goes to d2, defending the knight and saving the pawn structure in front of the king. Knight to h5, and the f pawn, if needed, is free to advance. a3, bishop to e7, and Carlsen now can choose to castle short or long, with queen to b1 that of course will support the b4 push. It seems that castling short is the safest idea. But Carlsen continues with knight to f4, b4 now, knight to e2 we check, king to h1, and knight to d4. The computer suggests, instead of knight to d4, he also suggests bishop captures on f3 first, but this line doesn't seem much better than knight to d4. Here comes knight captures on f3, knight to d4 now, b captures on c5, the bishop recaptures, queen to b2, long castle, but white is still better. Let's go back to our game. We said after king to h1, Carlsen plays knight to d4, the knight moves back to g1, and g5, a pawn sacrifice to open the g file. Now it's clear that Carlsen chose to castle long. B captures on c5, bishop recaptures on c5, but also Aronian has his open file. Now bishop captures on g5, black can't castle yet, rook to g8 attacking the bishop, bishop to h4, and bishop to e7. Possible to capture the bishop, but Aronian chose to play bishop to g3. Long castle for Carlsen, knight to c4, a second attack against e5, and f6 to protect the pawn. a4 now, knight to e6 to control f4, because white also has the f4 push in the cards, and this could be dangerous because the bishop and the queen are on this diagonal. Here comes f3 attacking the bishop, bishop back to h5, and bishop to f2 attacking a7, bishop to c5, bishop captures, knight recaptures, and knight to e2, bishop to f7 attacking the knight. Of course Aronian doesn't want the double pawns, and so he moves the knight to e3, queen to a5, queen to e1. Aronian wants to exchange the queens and he wants to enter the endgame a pawn up and without risk. Carlsen accepts this exchange and he feels that he is ready to defend the position. Queen captures on e1, rook recaptures on e1, and here comes a5. King to g1, a good move, h5, h4, king to c7, and king to f2. Bishop to e6, rook to g1. Of course the idea now is to push g4, rook to h8, so in case of g4, the pawn with the capture on g4, now the rook will attack h4, so rook to h1 and rook to d7. g4 is still a good move, but Aronian changes plans and relocate the rook to d1. Bishop to a7, and here comes d4. E captures, rook captures. Aronian also wants to exchange one rook. rook recaptures and knight captures on d4. Rook to d8, knight back to e2, and rook to d2 pinning the knight. King to e1 breaks the pin and attacks the rook. Rook back to d8 and knight to f5. Rook to a8, knight to c3, bishop to e6. Now it seems that bishop captures will double the pawn on the f5, so the knight goes back to e3. King to d6, that improves the position of the king, but rook to d1 with check conquers the d-file, king to e7, and rook to d4. So now the rook still protecting a4, but from a much better position, from a central position. Rook to a6 seems a bit an inaccuracy, because Magnus Carlsen wants to occupy the semi-open b file, but after king to d2 and rook to b6, this is a mistake that could cost the game, because there is a tactical shot. Aronian plays a good move, but doesn't find the really good idea. He plays knight to f5 with check, but let's go back one move, and the move to play is rook to d5, attacking the knight. The knight can't move back because the rook will capture the second pawn, or the h-pawn, or the a-pawn. Probably the h-pawn seems the candidate for the capture, because with this majority and 2 pawns up, the endgame will be won. So black must capture the rook, but here comes knight captures with check, king to d6, knight captures the rook on b6, 2 pawns up, and this is a win. Let's go back to our game. After rook to b6, a tactical mistake, Aronian plays knight to f5 with check, bishop captures and e captures, rook to b2, rook to c4 now against the knight, and king to d6 protecting the knight. Let's go back one move. If knight to d7 now, white is in a winning position, because rook to e4 with check, king to f7, king to c1 attacking the rook, rook back to b6, now rook to d4 against the knight, king to e7, but knight to e4, this is a really strong position with the knight that is ready to jump to d6 and later to c8, and when g4 will be played, this will be a real big problem for black. So king to d6 is the right answer. Knight to e4 with check, knight capture still with check, and rook recaptures on e4. Of course now g4 is coming, rook to a2, g4, h captures, and f captures on g4. This endgame should be winning for white. Here comes king to d5, king to d3 protecting the rook, rook to a3 with check, but there is no problem because here comes c3, and even with the trick of capturing with check and changing the rooks, but this pawn will promote to queen. So here comes b5, this is a good counter attack, but as we said, Aronian should win this endgame. His only problem is that he has only 2 minutes on the clock and he misses the winning move. He plays h5, but this is a blunder that will draw the game. Let's go back one move. g5 is the winning move, because let's watch just a couple of alternatives. If f captures on g4, h recaptures, now the rook must try at all cost to defend from these two pass and connected pawns. A captures on b5, c captures on b5 will just delete some noise. Here comes f6, rook to f1, rook to e8 controlling the back rank, rook to f3 with check, king to e2, but after rook to f5, g6 is enough to win, rook capture, g7, and nothing can stop this pawn. If we go back to g5, the other alternative, similar to what happened in the game, is b4, but here comes rook to g4 with the rook behind the pass pawn. Rook captures on c3 with check is not scary, because the king will move to d2, still controlling the rook so that the pawn can't advance, and there is nothing to do. Even rook to h3, g6, and white will win the game because this pawn is unstoppable. Let's go back to our game. After b5 and h5, the blunder. Here comes b4, rook to d4 we check, king to e5, rook to c4, rook capture, and h6. Rook to a1, c captures on b4, and a captures on b4. Rook captures on c6, but rook to a3 we check, king to c4, rook to c3 protected by the pawn, king to b5, and rook to h3 behind the passed pawn, and it's impossible to save this pawn. The white king captures on b4, but after rook captures on h6, king to c4, to c5, again the rook moves behind the passed pawns, or not passed but behind the pawns. Rook to e6 we check, king to f4 ready to attack the backward pawn, rook captures on f6, king captures on g4, king to d6 trying to create the bridge, but king to g5 with tempo against the rook, king to e7, rook to a1, rook to f8 to avoid any tactical trick with the rook still under the attack of the king, but after rook to a7 we check, the players agree to a draw because the king can't escape these lateral checks. So it was a really great game, really interesting Rossolimo attack that Aronian could win in the endgame, but he missed a couple of times the winning move. Now the players will play the Armageddon with Aronian again with the white pieces, but this is another game and this is another story. For now, thank you very much for watching and see you soon. Goodbye.